my creative journey is, look, my mum was an artist, and she painted. We got more paintings than you can poke a stick at. Everyone gets gifted a painting, and so my two brothers and I have mum's paintings all around our houses. For me, so it started, really, really young. I tried painting, but I'd sing, and more recently poetry and stuff like that. So it's sort of like anything creative, and every now and then, something weird and wonderful, but that's, I suppose, the gift from my mum and dad was that just be yourself, just be creative, whatever that looks like.
So my creative journey began as well. His mum was an artist, and that was kind of, as a grandchild, it wasn't my main motivation to be an artist. Obviously, there's the joy and love. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got something in common with my grandmother. That's always amazing. But growing up, I always had a little bit of a creative spark in there, and I was like, oh, what if I just create something? Why not? And going through school, a lot of art, like musicals, plays, and the choir, violin, all the creatives that you can think of. And something I found was I actually enjoyed every creative, like music, literally everything. And then what I found was that through school, they found it very confining. They were like, try and find a medium to be your own medium. And I'm like, but why? So now I'm just like, here, I'm just doing whatever medium I want, whether that's sculpting, painting, drawing, making up a random one just because, make it fun, art's supposed to be expressive, so just do whatever comes naturally, I guess. Yeah.
Having a diagnosis of mental illness doesn't define who I am, but it certainly makes up a part of that. And for me, the challenges of bipolar are the ruminations, the constant second guessing, and the highs and the lows. You experience a little bit of, but the ability to put all those ruminations down on a piece of paper, be it painted art or visual art, or be it poetic art or musical art, it's like clearing the belfry. It's like, you know what, all of these things I'm going to just put out there in verse or in art, and that and let it go, and have no worry what other people think. It's more about my cathartic process for well-being, to be able to go, okay, boom, and chuck it in the river, let it sail off and do what it's got to do, but knowing that it's cleared my head for me to be able to get on with my day. So for me, it's really cathartic and an important part of my well-being. We stop as a family and collaborate. And we've done my first poetry book, Tegan did all the illustrations for, and coincidentally, I had another book that my mum did all the illustrations for, and so it's pretty cool. And it's, look, it's not Shakespeare, but it's just, do you know what? Having fun and spitballing ideas with each other. Like Tegan will go, "What do you think of this?" And I go, "Oh, but what about this as well?" And it's just a really nice creative process beyond, father and daughter sort of stuff. It's just two creatives going zinging at a concept. So it's been cool.
Yeah, there's not much I can really add on to that other than it's a nice thing to be able to say, hey, I did this with my dad, and that people have taken that, and now obviously them having it, they're like, oh my gosh, this is a dad and daughter thing that they did together. And I find that really cute. That's amazing. Get to collaborate a little bit, and yeah, when we get the creative flow going, it's a hurricane of creativity. It's just kind of just watch it create, and then we're like, okay, well maybe we should make it a little bit more realistic a little bit. But that's creative process, and yeah, I like that it's immortalized now for forever. So
I guess when my illness is really on top of me, there's a busyness that's going on inside and around, and for me it's to quiet that. I need to find that quiet spot. I love going up to the bush. I love going down to a beach, and just that connection to land and sea is really important. And then let flow out what needs to flow out in terms of my art. And there are lots of poems that in those times don't hold a lot of hope. So not a lot of people will see those poems, but it's an important part of my process. For my heart is that whatever I create brings hope to someone else, but that's not where the creativity ends. There are moments when that creativity is an important element of staying on this rock, and that is when I create for myself, and no one will see it, but it's an important part of my process to stay well, or to get to a position of wellness. And so it's a very important part, and you'll never see any of that poetry or art at a Recovered Futures exhibition.
When I'm around other artists at like Recovered Futures, it is so amazing. I love art in so many ways, and I love the artists behind them, because sometimes you'll see an art piece and you're like, that's really interesting. What was the thought process? And then you meet the artist, and it's not what you expected, which is so fun. I love that it's so like different from, sometimes different, but sometimes similar to what you would expect. And hearing their thought process, I love the thought process of like what goes through an artist's brain to create something like that. Absolutely fantastic. And I love art history in itself. So if they get like the inspiration from like a specific location they went to, the story behind that could be the main focus as for why the painting was there. I'm like, that's so interesting, and I love it. I love talking to people. I love that. Yeah.
I love that she loves talking to people. Like the first couple of Recovered Futures that we went to, Tegan was going around with a journal, just looking at the art and making notes and reading their story and making notes, and it was just incredible. And it inspired me, because we live in a world that's built around competition and what's best and what's this and all that. But the love of art is art, and you celebrate other people that do it. It's so unique in terms of everyday life, right? You just look at Instagram, everyone's competing against each other, and look at how good I am. But art is like, oh, that is amazing, and it's so relative, and I zing out about it, but I get more zing watching Tegan just learn from all these incredible people, their stories, their reasoning, and their art, and so that's the beauty of Recovered Futures, is it's people celebrating people and art celebrating art. I think the hope that our art can impact other people is, it's always up there. It's probably not my initial thing is this is cathartic and I'm enjoying, and it's helping me with my well-being. But to know that there have been people out there, and I hear almost daily the people that have connected with a poem or connected with something I've written or sang or said or anything like that, and that's helped them with their journey. There's no greater compliment. We're all here on this planet to support and love one another and connect, and to know that just something that you've created in this dodgy little garage might have potentially helped someone through the toughest moment of their time. So yeah, no greater honour for that. I think seeing Tegan step into the footsteps of my mum, of myself, but more than that, actually creating her own footsteps, that's the stuff. Like I love that she, I don't agree with all her creative choices and all that, and that's cool, because I want her to be her own person. I want her to own her stuff, just like she owns her challenges, she owns her art, she owns who she is. And that's all any parent could want, is for your kids to grow up with that confidence, that to be okay with who they are, to be okay with their art and their creative processes. And that's the stuff that I sit back as a dad and go, yeah, come on, we've had a win. Look, there's so much to admire about Tiki. Just so proud that.
You're so proud.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry about that. Just proud of Teeks. Life can be tough, and sometimes circumstances and stuff like that. But she just constantly, that smile, her ability to see the good in humanity, even when it's not really easy to see. Her ability to rise above a lot of the challenges she's had and to create beautiful art, make beautiful memories, and I'm proud as a dad for not only all she's accomplished, but just the young person that she is. And she's a credit to herself. Yeah, that was quite an easy question, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Happy days.